Know your place, worm. Prepare yourself. Damn Saiyan.
Now, I love Goku as a character. He is by far one of my favorite characters in all mediums across the board. I'm a Dragon Ball fan through and through since I was 10 years old. But in the Tournament of Power, it is a little hard to root for Goku because essentially the entire tournament is Goku's fault. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, first, let me go ahead and start out by saying that I'm not a Goku hater. I am not trying to bash him in any way or anything like that, or bash any of the legit fans. But I wanted to go ahead and focus on a few things throughout Dragon Ball Super that could seriously mean that Goku's mindset is changing from one that is a mortal life mindset to a more divine, a more ethereal, if you would, godly mindset, and where this change started and what the change actually is. Now, going back to my earlier point, Goku at the beginning of the Tournament of Power reminds Zeno about the tournament itself against Beerus's wishes, not listening to Beerus at all. Zeno replies, "Oh, I forgot about the tournament." Now later we find out that yes, Zeno would have ultimately destroyed every universe that he didn't want to have in existence that had a low mortal rating. But who knows when that would have come. The later parts of Dragon Ball Super in this tournament, even the Supreme Kai and Beerus say, you know, it's because of Goku that these universes have a chance. That is ultimately true. But we don't know how long it would have been for Zeno to forget about the tournament and destroying the rest of the universes. I mean, you could say and make an argument that he would have destroyed the universes before thinking about the tournament, because we don't really know what the timetable would have been for Zeno to do such a thing, or the Zeno to work. It seemed like he was playing before Goku got to him, playing with the other Zeno, so it could have been quite a while. And all these other universes, it could have been millennia. And all these other universes, all their inhabitants could have had lifetimes, lived and died, up to the point before the universe would have been or might have been erased. So because of Goku's colossal blunder, it is a little hard to root for him through the Tournament of Power. But after diving into his character a little bit on my own, and you guys can do it on your own too, and let me know in the comment section below if I have anything that either I missed or I got wrong, or you want to debate with me. But there is a fundamental change with Goku's character when it comes to whose life is important enough to matter, essentially. And this change came at the very beginning of Super. The importance of life becomes something that is almost of no consequence when you have things like the Dragon Balls. And throughout Dragon Ball Z, you've had these wish orbs that can grant any wish and bring anybody back to life. Of course, there are rules. For the most part, you can bring anyone back to life. That doesn't stop Goku from caring about people dying, though. And that didn't stop him throughout Dragon Ball Z. Now, going all the way back to Dragon Ball, I know there are moments that he cared about people dying because I've seen them. Now, I haven't seen all of Dragon Ball, so I'm not going to comment too much on that. Yes, I know, light the torches and bring out the pitchforks. I've not seen all of Dragon Ball yet, but I will eventually once they come out on Blu-ray or whatever the medium would be, and I'll watch them there. But going back to this, Goku cares a great deal about people dying. He cared about his friends dying when they fought the Saiyans. He cares about Krillin dying, obviously through the Frieza arc, because as soon as Krillin dies, he goes into the legendary Super Saiyan transformation, or the Super Saiyan transformation. And throughout Dragon Ball Z, we see moments of him caring about people dying. And you could say that in Dragon Ball Super, there are moments also. But in Dragon Ball Z, there are a lot of moments where he declares that he cares about a lot of people dying. Or he cares about people he doesn't know dying, essentially. So Goku has a lot of self-sacrifice moments in Dragon Ball Z. One of the best moments is when he teleports or instant transmissions a about to explode cell away from planet Earth and brings him to King Kai's planet. Unfortunately, he kills King Kai and Bubbles and Gregory, but he saves the Earth and all its residents. Now, that is a recurring theme throughout Dragon Ball Z, that he's saving the lives of people he does not know, or he cares about the lives of people he doesn't know, as opposed to just caring about the people that are really close to him. When Majin Vegeta, as I'm going to be calling him, destroyed parts of the stadium with huge amounts of people in it, just obliterated them, and even at some point obliterated the city, the part of the city behind the stadium that he blew up, Goku was physically and in his dialogue was disgusted by Vegeta, even though at that point he knew that he could have just gathered the Dragon Balls and wished them all back. In many instances, he says throughout, even especially the Buu arc, he states that yes, I can, you can wish back these people with the Dragon Balls. They can be wished back. We need to focus on the villain at hand before, Piccolo dies or something happens or we can't wish them back. So the value of life was really never diminished throughout Dragon Ball Z for Goku, especially the value of other people's lives that he didn't know. He always wanted to save the Earth. And that changes a little bit in Dragon Ball Super. Not to the point where it changes that he doesn't care about these people's lives. It's that he understands a much larger picture of the reality of the universe, the Dragon Ball universe. And I would say that this started out with meeting Beerus. Meeting a deity that is far more powerful than him. And Goku became a Super Saiyan God to confront him. And he still could not defeat him. And I'm talking about the Battle of Gods arc, or the Battle of Gods movie, whichever one you would like. Not only that, but towards the end, and now this is where you guys come in. I know at the end of Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods movie, Beerus tells Goku that there are many other universes. I can't recall at this moment if he does the same thing in the Battle of Gods arc. So if you can remember, let me know. I mean, I'm not perfect, so, but he does state that in the movie. So this whole grand universe of much more powerful beings and existences that are far beyond Goku's control exist past his own small world. I feel like this is the moment where Goku starts changing his mindset and thinking of, well, I need to save the Earth. Earth matters. And I think he still thinks that, definitely, because moving forward on my next examples he does. But now it's more of a question of the value of Earth and other people he doesn't know to the value of many Earth-like planets and other people he doesn't know. When Frieza destroys the planet in the Golden Frieza arc, Goku looks physically shaken that the planet is floating all around him. Then his friends go on and rattle off the people that just completely were obliterated because of Frieza's blast. Now, Goku seems like he cares about the fact that the Earth was destroyed. And, it could be said that he cares about a great deal about the people that just died, the people that he's very close with, and the Earthlings that had just died in the blast. The destruction of Earth is a very moving and symbolic moment for Goku, when the Earth was destroyed right in front of him when he could have stopped it. And then what happens? Whis rewinds time and gives Goku a mulligan, similarly to what Dragon Balls essentially do. This only reinforces the fact and pushes Goku down the path of changing his mindset that the reality of time, the reality of many, many universes, is that there's always a chance for him to redo and go back and make up past mistakes. That he can save his friends. And I feel this is another great moment of where Goku's mindset starts changing more into, for those of you who might not watch Rick and Morty, I'm a huge fan of Rick and Morty, and I feel like his mindset, Goku's mindset, is changing a little bit more into how Rick and Morty views reality. How there's infinite number of universes, so why does anything really matter? But then they still really care about the people that they made connections with and they have close bonds with in realities. At least Rick seems that way to both his daughter Beth, even though he's got infinite Beths, and his grandson Rick and granddaughter Summer. So I think that is the direction of Goku's mindset as Dragon Ball Super progresses, and it does not get any better when you go into the Goku Black arc. Now in the Goku Black arc, we still have great moments of where Goku being immortal is really shown and pushed on display. Him having his emotions for the people that are close to him, and even people that he had never met, but a different version of him had. When Goku Black tells Goku that he killed his family, it was probably one of the highlights, the best moments of the Goku Black arc, because of the fact of how Goku, or Zamasu, taking Goku's face and then killing Goku's family with Goku's body, essentially against Goku's will, was one of the greatest moments of the arc, because it's just so dark, so sinister, something that really Dragon Ball really doesn't touch too much, and if it does, it dips its toe into sinister and dark waters such as that. Twisted. But what we get from Goku is a huge response. Even though he ultimately loses this fight, he explodes in anger. It looked like he channeled all the Super Saiyan Blue aura inside of him and was attacking Super Saiyan Rose, Goku Black, in all his strength. This is another great moment where Goku still is attached to his earthly friends, earthly family, and their severed ties had a similar impact to him as back when he was in the Frieza arc, where Krillin dies right in front of him. And maybe it's pushed more with the fact that really he's never going to revive that future Chi-Chi or future Goten ever again. You can't revive them with the I mean, he could, but he's not going to revive them with the Dragon Balls, and probably the Earth Dragon and maybe even the Namekian Dragon won't have enough power to revive a future version of his wife and his son. So maybe that impacts him more, because there are no more mulligans that he can take. But it was great to see that. As the arc progresses, we start seeing the fact that he isn't really phased, for the most part, by Zamasu, as he becomes the Earth and tries to become the universe, destroys the remaining humans on the planet. He's upset, but he's not as upset as you would see him when his family died right in front of him. And this is in contrast to the fact of Goku back in Dragon Ball Z used to be extremely upset by those that were killed around him, by those that he didn't know. And then once Zeno, who he brought there, destroys that future Universe 7, or for those of you who think that, again, it could be, he destroyed that future timeline, Goku doesn't seem very fazed by the fact that Zeno just destroyed an entire timeline in front of him. Now, some of you may argue that, oh, well, Goku Black killed everybody in that timeline. No, he didn't. He killed all the gods, and he destroyed many mortals on different planets, but then he came back to Earth and started exterminating that planet on his own, with his own bare hands. So there are still millions of other planets, and probably and the rest of the 11 other universes that were in that timeline that Goku, if Zeno did destroy that entire timeline, like 12 universes just were destroyed instantaneously, and Goku didn't bat an eye. Billions upon billions of lives. If he just destroyed that future Universe 7, then again, still thousands of galaxies and worlds were destroyed in an instant because of Zeno, and because he brought Zeno there. And of course, you get rid of Zamasu, and that's good. But just that fact, that lack of connection, Goku is starting to think on a different plane. He's starting to think on a higher plane, a more godly plane, and that's exactly where I'm going with this. I feel like Goku is transcending, not only with his own power, because his power is becoming more of a god, but his own mindset, where there are so many different realities, there are so many different timelines, that sometimes you can't get so worked up over the destruction of some, or one, or two. Do you know what I'm saying? So that brings us to the Tournament of Power arc, and a real defining moment. But first, let me comment on this. In the last episode, this is kind of what made me want to make this video, because I'm trying to dissect and realize the difference in Goku's mindset throughout Dragon Ball Super. And sort of the reason that for me, I'm not rooting so much on Goku when it comes to the tournament, because I'm like, it's his fault. Even though, again, I explained everything in the beginning, you know, he was gonna destroy him anyway, gave him a chance, but even though he reminded him, still, it was kind of hard to root for Goku. But it's much easier to root for the rest of Universe 7 team, including Frieza. It's much easier to root for Vegeta, who just has a daughter, has a family, and cares about them. Actually goes to their, knows their, you know, was there on their birth, you know, cares about what happens to them when it comes to, you know, training them and all this stuff, and being there for them, being there for the important moments of their life, while Goku really is more detached and wants to train on his own. It's easier to, you know, focus on Gohan and how he has a redemption arc essentially right before the tournament or through the tournament, and then now he, you know, he has his wife and his daughter to protect as well. It's easier to root for them, but Goku is going through a transcendence, and that's what I'm trying to get at. Even though in the last episode he cried when Master Roshi died, and he revived him to save him from death, the reviving of Master Roshi really still showcases that there's some connection there. There is a strong bond. If someone that he knows dies right in front of him, that he, you know, he's still going to tear up, he's still going to go crazy, and that's some of the best aspects of Goku. But now it's more the lives of people that he cares about and is really close with against the lives of people he doesn't really know. And I'm gonna go focus on these two aspects here. We have Gohan and Goku's reactions to the destruction of a timeline, of a universe that they really don't know as well. And it could be argued that, yes, Universe 9 was more sinister as opposed to Universe 10. Universe 9 tried to kill Goku and Frieza before they even got into the tournament. But not everybody in Universe 9 is evil. That's something Goku knows. Or at least he should know. And going from off Dragon Ball Z, he knows that just one evil aspect of a society doesn't create all the evil aspects of society. When Universe 9, my apologies. When Universe 9 is destroyed in front of Goku, it was probably one of the best moments in the Tournament of Power arc. Goku, everyone's shocked, essentially, at the destruction. It was the first universe that was destroyed. And people were shocked even though they knew that Universe 9 was a piece of crap, essentially, from their representatives. Not the whole entire universe, but just the representatives that were there and that we've seen so far, except for maybe the trio of the Dangers, because they had an actual brotherly bond and they seemed just like warriors essentially. And they, in my point of view, they weren't sinister or evil at all. But Goku, the Grand Priest, stares down at everybody in the tournament after the universe is destroyed, and Goku. And then he looks over and he's staring at Goku, and then Goku kind of just stares right back at him. And that's it. I mean, you could say, yeah, he did have an angry expression on his face. He was clearly upset that the entire universe, or at least maybe he thought about it, that the entire universe was destroyed in front of him. But that was it. Let's move on to Gohan's reaction. Somebody who, all intents and purposes, hasn't changed much in the entirety of Super, except for the last arc. Somebody that hasn't gotten to that godly plane, or looking at things in a godly aspect. Universe 10 is destroyed right in front of him. He looks down extremely sad at the locket that fell off this dude's neck. As the universe is erased, the locket is erased, and Gohan clenches his fist and looks, and even it's a somber tone to the scene, and it's sad, and Gohan is sad, extremely. And then it ends. He goes on to fight because he needs to fight for Universe 7. That's why it's a little bit easier to root for Gohan and Vegeta as opposed to Goku right now in the Tournament of Power, because of this. But I argue that it's because Goku is essentially getting on the mindset of angels, I would say. Because even the gods of destruction fear. I mean, Beerus feared the rules as soon as they were stated to him that the universes would be destroyed, while Goku seemed really carefree. Beerus got onto him about that. Goku was more carefree about it. So it's like Goku is more on a level when it comes to the consciousness of knowing or caring about all these universes, or whether they're destroyed or not, as the angels and Zeno. And I think his mindset's getting even more to that. And this is just all me thinking about how he has changed and what his mindset is right now, because there are people that are upset of what he has become, essentially, because of the Tournament of Power arc, and really not caring. There's tons of videos on YouTube. The evil Goku doesn't care about universe. Goku is, you know, unfeeling. Goku is evil. Things like that. There are a lot of videos. Just look them up. Goku doesn't care about universes, and then you'll find all of them. But I think it's more because of his transition, and I think that's what the Dragon Ball Super is going to. That he's transitioning from mortal to immortal in mindset, essentially. A mortal mindset again into an immortal mindset, a mortal mindset into a godly mindset. A Goku that used to care about everybody dying, or the fates of everybody, people he didn't even know, now really only focuses and cares, for the most part, or shows feeling for those, for the most part, for those that he knows. So the big test with this is going to be what's going to happen when Universe 6, the universe that's the closest to Goku, the universe that Goku cares the most about because he's had the most time with this universe. What's going to happen when that universe, or if that universe, is destroyed in front of him? Will he blame the gods? Will he blame the Grand Priest? Will he blame Zeno? Will that trigger him into going into this new transformation? Will he challenge them? Will he confront Zeno if either Universe 7 is on the chopping block, about to be destroyed, or Universe 6 is about to be destroyed? You could argue that he might care about Universe 11 a little bit, but I don't think so. Not to the point as Universe 6, which is the much closer universe to him. It's the twin universe. He knows most of the characters in that universe. He cares a lot for a lot of those characters. He cares about Hit, for those of you. He saved Kid a couple episodes back because he cares about him. The death of any of those characters is going to mean something to him, more than any of the other universes. So if that universe is on the chopping block, which I don't think it will be, but if it is going to be on the chopping block at some point, or it gets destroyed in front of him, will he transform? Will that push him to transform into this transformation? And then, or will that push him into realizing that, you know, he needs to confront the gods? He needs to, you can't be essentially having a Krillin dies moment in the Tournament of Power where he transforms into the transformation, maybe attacks the Grand Priest. I mean, that might seem far-fetched, but I've seen more far-fetched things come out of other people's mouths here in the Dragon Ball community and YouTube. But that's what I'm thinking, and I'm thinking that that's when we really will know how far Goku has transformed and changed from the Goku that we knew back in the Frieza arc, back in Dragon Ball Z. Is he gonna care about these guys to the extent? What's he gonna do when if his universe is ever on the chopping block? If his universe is going to be erased because all the fighters are taken off the arena? Will he plead with Zeno? Will he plead with the Omni King? Will he confront him and just go right into his face? And will the Omni King really budge and listen to Goku? We don't know any of these things. But what I do know is that Goku is different now. He's different than he was back in Dragon Ball Z when it comes to his mindset. Even though some might say he's a lot more serious in Dragon Ball Z, and that in Dragon Ball Super he's a little bit more of a goofball, I think that he's changed even more beyond that. I think this more carefree nature of his is similar to the Omni King's nature, maybe even similar to the Grand Priest nature as he transforms his mindset even more. Thank you guys for watching the video. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of my thoughts on Goku's mindset, the change in his mindset, or anything you guys want to talk about. Drop me a like if you liked my video, and this is going to be Dragon Ball Black signing off.